And as President Bola Tinubu takes out of office today, several issues will be on his table. But top of these issues are the economy and security. To help us get a grasp on this and attendant issues, we have Barrister Jide Olugu joining us to take a look at this. Now, thank you for joining us, Barrister. We appreciate your time.
Thank you
for coming on Business Now.
It's my pleasure.
And happy inauguration, I must say to you, or a new dispensation in Nigeria's political history.
And I respond by saying Happy New Year.
Okay.
It's a new season, really.
Yes. So talk to us about these. What is the major high point of the president's speech, the opening speech after the inauguration?
You know, the president acknowledged the fact that it's been a very tough journey for him, and that what happens today is not about him, but about connecting what Nigeria has gone through in the past with a renewed hope for a brighter future that Nigeria deserves to occupy in the polity of nations. And I think that is sacrosanct. And of course, he did not shy away from acknowledging the realities we have now, talking about the poverty in the land, talking about the insecurity, talking about attending to this issue of subsidy, fuel subsidy in the nation, because according to him, what that has done is to position the rich as against the poor, and that his own government will ensure that what is saved from subsidy is invested in infrastructure. He also spoke about inclusion of women and the youth, creating jobs, investing in agriculture, and he emphasized the need for security in the land, and he intends with his team to restructure not just the architecture, the security architecture, but also the mindset of security in the country. And he's also passionate about bringing the nation together, that the South should realize that there is no South without the North, and the North also should embrace the South. And on that note, I particularly placed my attention on the fact that Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, was in attendance, and he achieved that in Rwanda. He banished the issue of ethnicity, and where you have a level of national integration, then it may be faster to achieve the economic objectives of a resourceful leadership. But in the absence of that, the agitations will continue, and that all this will serve as distraction for the government. And now that he's there, Nigerians are waiting for performance beyond rhetorics, because some are still in the school of thought that we've heard this over and over again. When do we begin to experience it? And we hope that he will not disappoint Nigerians in this area.
Yes, quite a lot of assurances from, president there, but with all of these assurances that we have from the president, especially in his opening speech, is it time to shout to hurrah and go home to sleep, knowing that all will be well, having given us these assurances?
It won't be wise to just hold on to assurances alone. You talk about returns on investment. So when you invest, you monitor your investment and you benchmark your expectations with performance. So some of us, we engage in wishing this government the best and monitoring the activities to ensure that this government walks the talks. It's not just about the wonderful promises that we have, but something that is instructive is for the president himself to realize that he's been sworn into office today for the first time of 4 years, and possibly second time of another 4 years, being 8 years. That President Muhammadu Buhari, former president of Nigeria, just completed 8 years, and history has documented how he handled those opportunities that came his way within the space of the 8 years. So it will be with the new president President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm sure you're not aware he's Adekunle.
Well, I'm not aware. This is, of course, just coming to me as news for the first time.
And that is what leaders should realize. You are there for a purpose.
Pardon me to come in here. I mean, like you said, he's achieved a lot at the state level, but there are quite a lot of people who are, very, very critical of whether he will perform at the national level. So it's a different ballgame at the national level. You also talk about the fact that he said he will bring Nigerians together. He's going to unite. He's going to address the issue of inflation. He talked about industrialization, the manufacturing sector, and all of that. So as easy as these things are, but how again easy do you think you'll be able to address all of these challenges? There are quite a lot of challenges waiting for him on his table to address.
As far as he is willing to make things happen. I argued at a time that perhaps the most powerful president in Nigeria, in the world, is the Nigerian president, and I'm not benchmarking that with leadership of North Korea and some other tough regions, because the influence within that office is strong enough. And when you engage that influence, it depends on the vision you have and the direction you are heading. So if our new president comes into office and wants business as usual, so be it. Like I said earlier, history will document. But for someone that has an accounting precedence, someone who is reckoned to be a technocrat, someone that majority of even his critics agreed with the fact that as the two-time governor of Lagos State, he performed, then this is a bigger spectrum for him to perform. He's not going to be there alone. We have ministers, the National Assembly will be there, the service chiefs will be there, the ministry departments and agencies will be there. So it's just for him to drive the policies that will reposition the country. Right now, we seriously need foreign direct investments. And how do you achieve that? And he also mentioned that. Look at the tax regime in the country. Look at the ease of doing business. Look at creating an enabling environment. If you can deal with insecurity, people will want to come and invest in Nigeria. We have overflowing resources in this country. Nigeria still has the largest deposit of proven gas in Africa. You see, so we still have those refineries that are moribund. Even if we don't want to invest in revamping them, we can build new ones. Our new president is one of the arrowheads in facilitating the construction of the Aliko Dangote refinery in Lagos State. He's been associated with developmental feats. I recall one that is very precious to my memory and admiration. At the time you go to Victoria Island, the Bar Beach, the ocean was a threat to the building and facilities around that corridor. The government found it difficult to tame the ocean. But through private sector engagement, with Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as one of the key players in the private sector approach, they dealt with this. Now we have the Atlantic City there. In fact, the United States of America is reported to be building the biggest embassy in the world in that Atlantic City.
So you are saying that Nigerians should expect to see all of that replicated at the center?
I cannot speak for Nigerians, but I speak for myself that I hope he will leverage on this. Like I said, it's an opportunity.
Okay, I want us to look at two issues before I let you go. One is that quite a lot of people believe that he has tie with economic interests and powerful people. And how difficult do you think it will be for him to write home with some of these policies? That's one. Secondly, he talked about the fact that he's going to review complaints that Nigerians has talked about, especially the business community on multiple taxation. You say it's going to review them. Do you see that as undoing the previous administration tax regime, which is ongoing?
It's not undoing. If you are on a journey that is creating problems for you and you have the opportunity of still embarking on that journey by diminishing the problems. Won't you diminish the problems? You see, we have a bigger expectation here, which is creating commonwealth for common good. So you need to, that's what you call SWOT analysis in business. Your strength, your weakness, your opportunities, and your threats. So he needs to sit down, put all these policies on the table. For example, he already spoke about the Naira swap, that the two currencies, the old and the new, will run pari passu. So some of us expect that that may be extended beyond December 31st. You know, he already spoke about subsidy. So you look at it. So, and the essence of succession is to enhance what delivers positively and diminish what delivers negatively, because this country must rise and shine. So he needs to engage his international network to attract investments. For example, energy is key. And I recall that when he was the governor of Lagos State, this independent power project, it came up then. And to look at the exclusive legislative list, look at what you can do to give regions control over resources in their regions, to create wealth. So these are issues. Okay. Bringing Nigeria back to shape is not an impossibility. And if he plays the card very well in securing the internal economy, then he will benefit from the external economies. For instance, I look forward to a season where the oil thieves will leave Nigeria alone. I don't know who they are, you see, and the sponsors of Boko Haram and terrorism will probably relocate to Sudan, that has crisis right now, because they must sponsor terrorism. So when you look at all this, and like I said earlier, he is the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So if his vision is clear enough, you get eggheads that will help you to deliver. And if they are not delivering, you ask them to excuse you. Okay. So it's all about what he wants to achieve in office.
Okay. Barrister, let's wrap up now. What will be your charge, the strongest charge to the new administration in the first 100 days in office? What did you think they need to tackle and address as a matter of urgency as a wrap up now?
The economy is the hub. Then social cohesion. And of course, we need a fresh orientation in this country. And I have come up with an agenda talking about the United States of Nigeria, not just in concept, but in practice. And this also can be pushed to the National Assembly to legislate on it. Let's have a new orientation in this country. We have been cheated over the years with this polarization. And yet, those who plunder the resources of this nation are united in their own camp. And they sell out this impression of polarization just to impoverish the people. So, and if all these are attended to, but basically, we need to go back to the primary purpose of government as enshrined in Section 14, subsection 2 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, that says that the security and the welfare of the citizens shall be the primary purpose of government. So when you get the primary base right, the secondary, tertiary, and post-tertiary stages will take care of themselves. And we can also in the future boast as one of the prosperous nations of the world. The resources are still there. So I congratulate my new president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I wish him and his team a wonderful and prosperous voyage in this governance journey.